Hello and welcome to another Spectrum Geeks video. Better late than never, but again it's time to talk about the monthly solar stats for my 9 kilowatt solar array here in Worcestershire in the UK for the month of August 2021. This video is a bit later because I've been away, and that's also impacted my ability to be here and record some of the stats, so there are going to be some information missing that I normally try and cover on these monthly updates. And there'll also be another video coming soon because this video marks year 3 of having solar here at my home, so need to try and work out again how we're doing with the payback on the solar and the battery and everything that we have. So to bring you up to speed, if you're not familiar and this is the first time you're watching this video series, so on the screen now you can see the solar setup that I have. So I have 30 Pi panels across the roof, which is equaling that 9 kilowatt solar array. On the back of each of those panels is a SolarEdge optimizer, and they all connect back into the 6 kilowatt SolarEdge inverter that I have. Connected to that I also have the Tesla Powerwall 2 with the standard gateway, so not the backup gateway, so if the power goes off or anything, so does my battery, but that has 14 kilowatt hours of storage, 13.5 are usable, and a maximum of 5 kilowatts peak energy to power the oven and all that other stuff when it's cooking. I also then have a few MyEnergi products, so things are all connected back into something called a Harvey, which is basically a wireless CT clamp that enables the CT clamps to wirelessly communicate with the devices. And I have an Eddy, which allows me to heat hot water with surplus solar, and I also have the Zappi Generation 1, which we use to charge our electric cars. When we're not obviously running from solar, we have to pull from the grid, so I use Octopus Energy as my energy provider, and I use the Octopus Go tariff, which means I only pay 5 pence per kilowatt hour in between midnight and 4:30 in the morning. And if you are considering changing to my Octopus or Octopus Energy, and you're looking at trying to find a referral code, you can use my referral code. It's down in the description. If you decide to use it, both you and I get £50 credit to your account. And I firmly do believe that they're not perfect, but of all the energy providers I've had over the years, Octopus Energy continue to provide great service and good tariffs, especially if you're someone that has a battery and electric vehicles. So to move on to how the system has performed for August 2021, so you can see the performance actually wasn't that great. I don't know about you, but August wasn't really a very sunny kind of period for me, so solar actually wasn't that brilliant. But you can see there in the far left hand side of the slide, our total production was 796 kilowatt hours, and we're able to consume 665 kilowatt hours of that. So 131 kilowatt hours of energy was exported back into the grid to power my neighbours' houses and people in the surrounding area. But one of the reasons for this, even though the performance wasn't great, we've been away a fair bit in the Hero camper. It's not being here to use energy. So what's happening when we're not here is obviously the battery, the power wall's being charged, and the hot water is being heated from the surplus solar. So you can see here in the production, in terms of the month, a couple of kind of high-ish days at the early part of the month, and it kind of tailed off with some very kind of random kind of generation days throughout the month. It really wasn't that great, and you can see the consumption is high, so we pulled from the grid a few times. Now this is for a couple of reasons. Obviously, when we're going away in a Hero camper, I always charge to 100% before we go, just to make sure I don't have any range anxiety or issues as I still continue to get used to towing. So obviously then I am plugging in and pulling from the grid. But also because the solar generation hasn't been brilliant, I've also turned the boost setting back on the Eddy. So for a couple of hours during the off-peak Octopus Go tariff, we're also pulling from the grid to heat hot water to make sure there's definitely hot water in the morning, because the solar's not been that great. So that's why we've pulled from the grid there. But again, most of the time when we're pulling from the grid, it is on off-peak, so still not costing us that much, and we're obviously look at some of those things in a moment as well. And then finally, if you see the last piece on the slide here, talks about how things were for August. So you can see 2018 August is not a full month because that's when we first got solar. But you can see 2019 was the best, followed by 2020 and followed by 2021 really being the worst solar August we've had so far, which unsurprisingly backs up the fact that it was a pretty crap month. Look at a couple of standout days. For August, our highest generation day was on the 4th of August. So you can see there 47.9 kilowatt hours of energy generated, and we exported 11% of the energy generated on that day. Our highest consumption day was on the 26th of August. Again, this will be one of the times that we're going away. So the batteries probably pulling up a little bit from the grid, hot water as well, and charging the car. So a fair amount of that came from off-peak from the grid. So a total of 84.1 kilowatt hours consumed on that day. And then our highest export day was the 12th of August. So 25.6 kilowatt hours of energy were exported on the 12th. And again, I haven't got my calendar handy. That's probably because we were away and we weren't here to use that solar energy. So if we look at how the Tesla Powerwall 2 performed, I don't have all the information actually, and if you are someone that's got a Powerwall 2 and you've got the new app and you've dug into it a bit more than I've had time to, please let me know. I can't see in the new version how I can get the data that clearly tells me how much energy went in to the Powerwall. I can still see how much came out, so 294.3 kilowatt hours of electricity got out of the battery, but I don't know how much actually went in to work out the efficiency. So if you know how to do that, please leave a comment down below and then we can work things out. I keep on thinking about doing a review of this new app or at least a chat about it on the channel, but I'm not sure I like it. In terms of the MyEnergi, Eddie and the Zappy, again, because we were away, I couldn't be here to physically look at the screen. As I mentioned before, the app, and even if you are logged into the MyEnergi portal, the information available is absolutely crap. I don't understand why the app and the portal can't replicate what's on the device and actually tell you. So all I can tell you is 43.7 kilowatt hours of energy went into hot water, but I don't know what percentage of that, what the mix was in terms of grid or off grid, from solar. And for the Zappy, same again. Crap info in the app, so I don't know how much of it was green or not, but we did put 161.9 kilowatt hours of energy into our electric vehicles. So that's the combination of my wife's Nissan Leaf, which is a 40 kilowatt hour version, and my 78 kilowatt hour Polestar 2. Finally, again, we don't know the current month, but the previous month we can look at the billing information. So last month's bill, 29.4 kilowatt hours of energy came from peak electricity. So that's obviously when there wasn't enough solar during the day. But 173.8 kilowatt hours came from off-peak. So as mentioned before, electricity usage, even though it may be high, because we're working from home and everything, is still pretty low, which meant our average cost was only 5.97 pence per kilowatt hour. So that total energy, including the daily charges, resulted in 21.47 pence, £24.47 being our electricity bill for last month, and we used 33.4 kilowatt hours of gas, which was £6.26. So that's what our bills were for July. And then finally, in terms of how the solar payback stuff's working for me, so as mentioned previously, I got in right at the end of the feed-in tariff, so I do get some money from there. So the feed-in tariff generation benefit I get is £32.84 for August. The feed-in tariff export benefit, even though I don't really export that much, I still get paid £21.89. In terms of the solar generation, then I didn't have to buy from the grid. That equates to a saving of £91.24. So the total savings, or helping with the payback for solar for August 2021, was £145.96. And then finally, if I hadn't been on the feed-in tariff and I was getting paid just for what I actually exported, I would have got paid £7.21. But always keep in mind, I try not to export anything. So that's always going to be quite a low number. So I hope this information continues to be informative and somewhat valuable. Again, not as detailed as I like normally, but I blame MyEnergi for that. Please make your apps better. But if you have liked this video, please do so, press that like button, helps the channel get notified by the YouTube algorithm, which is really helpful. If you haven't done already, please consider subscribing and pressing that notification icon so you get notified automatically of new uploads. As always, thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourself, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye for now.